This video looks at dealing with inverted or crossed lines. There are many ways in which your lines can become crossed. If the kite stalls badly, it may flip through its own center lines. That creates what is known as inverted lines, like this. Another common cause is when someone is riding and lets their kite hit the water. Then, as they ride towards the kite, it rolls onto its upper side. The kite will then flip downwind, potentially going through its own lines in some way. If anything like this happens, firstly, you need to know there's a good chance the kite won't fly as normal anymore. For example, a bridle might snag around a wingtip, which will then steer the kite and could make it death loop. So watch the kite carefully, and if there's a problem, immediately use your safety steps. Sometimes, however, you'll find the kite will still fly as normal. If the bridles and bar are in order and your lines merely cross around each other, the kite may handle as normal. If the kite can be flown, then you have a couple of options for fixing your crossed or inverted lines. The simplest, and for many the quickest, solution is to land the kite and then re-rig your lines. You can speed this up by just detaching the steering lines. Then separate your lines from the bar as normal. Then reattach each steering line. If you inspect the lines and bridles at the kite, and inspect from the bar, and everything's in order, then you're ready to kite again. This took me just under 1 minute. Another option is to fix the lines from the bar. Arrange someone to hold your kite so that you can walk downwind several meters, keeping the kite definitely on your upwind side. You then have an untangling puzzle to solve. I'll show you 3 different examples. The general idea is to see where the lines go from the bar and make the bar or part of the bar follow them along. Here, for example, is a pure invert. Both steering lines go from the bar and through the center lines this way. So to fix that, the bar must follow the steering lines through the V in the center lines. After that, you can inspect to check everything is in order. Here we have a different puzzle. The left steering line incorrectly goes between the center lines and the right steering line. So to fix this, the left bar end must follow that line through the same gap. Importantly, the right side of the bar must stay in place as you do this. As soon as the left bar end follows through that gap, the steering lines are no longer crossed. However, the D-power section or tube has rolled around the bar in this process, which could be very dangerous. This can be fixed simply by rolling the entire bar in this direction. Inspection will now show you if your lines are in order. As we'll see in this last example, it is common to have both of the last 2 problems combined. First, fix the invert by observing which way both steering lines go through the V of the center lines. Pass the bar through the V following those steering lines, and if you get it right, the situation should improve. Now we only have a crossed steering line. The right steering line passes down through the gap between the center lines and the left steering line. So the right bar end must follow through that gap while the left bar end stays in place. That has now uncrossed the steering lines, but now the bar must be rolled to untangle the D-power tube. You then inspect your lines to make sure that everything is in order. You must then launch as normal, prepared for the fact that the kite might not fly properly, therefore keeping one hand ready on the chicken loop eject. So, should you rerun the lines or fix the problem from the bar? If you're a novice kiter, it's not worth the risk of fixing from the bar. You might stand in the wrong place and let your kite catch the wind. You might make the problem worse. Rerunning your lines is fairly quick and the much safer option. A good reason not to fix from the bar is if you have a high V on your center lines like this. In that case, redoing your lines is often much simpler than untangling from the bar. There are a few reasons you might want to fix cross lines from the bar. If you're experienced enough, it won't pose a risk and you'll get the lines fixed quickly. Another benefit is that you don't need to put a wet kite and bar on the beach where they'll get encrusted with sand. Another potential reason is if you're in water that's shallow far out and you're far from your launch area. Thanks for watching my channel, and please let me know your questions in the comments section.